Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 because this is still just such a controversial device, and I feel like it's for good reason. This thing is getting so much hate online for its big price tag, for its lack of games, for its honestly pathetic battery life, but I wanted to talk about this today because there has been a video that so many subscribers have sent me that's apparently so controversial, which is by Digital Foundry. Where I'm a big fan of Digital Foundry. They're the kings of tech analysis, in my opinion. They're so good about measuring frame rates and resolution and just raw power of a system. And they did a giant takedown, basically saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a big leap. Undeniably, the thing has more power, it's got better processing, it's got everything, right? The big problem is this physical screen. This is pathetic. This thing is so incredibly bad. This screen is worse than the Nintendo Switch OLED. It's worse than the original Nintendo Switch. It's worse than the Steam Deck. It is worse than everything. This is literally the worst freaking screen. And part of the confusion about that is just the fact that this system being so ridiculously expensive and every other part of it being such a leap up, why did they downgrade the screen? Let's talk about that because a lot of Nintendo fanboys are actually calling them liars, even though they posted their evidence. So let's take a look at the facts, because I just feel like I'm in a spot still where I'm annoyed about how expensive every part of the Nintendo Switch 2 is. For how big the price tag is, it doesn't match the actual quality. So many expensive controllers and games and stuff for a system that barely looks like a Nintendo Switch Pro. Let's talk about the two and why this Digital Foundry video seems to have ruffled so many feathers. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, this blurb very much sums up their video. Their video is not a giant hater screed. It's actually pretty positive for the most part. An impressive package with some excellent new features, Switch 2 delivers a generational leap with remarkable efficiency, but the screen is surprisingly poor. Now, I watched it. This video is 2 hours long, and I feel like it does a great job of really highlighting the fact that the Nintendo Switch 2 is the best part of it is honestly the fact that it just plays Nintendo Switch 1 games better. Look, we don't have a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 games right now. We have basically like 3 Nintendo Switch 2 games. Whoop-de-freaking-do. I still feel like they should have launched Donkey Kong instead of crappy-ass Mario Kart, but when you see stuff like this, the beefiness of the Nintendo Switch 2 is actually wild. This performance leap is insane. I give them giant kudos. Of their entire 2-hour video, I would say 93% is just gushingly positive, but they did point out the fact that there is some serious issues with how you see this. Like, if you're the kind of person that plays it predominantly handheld, you are getting a worse experience. Now, I like this quote here. Digital Foundry points out actual problems with Switch 2's screen, but overall praises it. Nintendo soldiers. A ton of Nintendo people are mad about this. Now, what are we seeing here? As you can see, this is a thing called ghosting. If you've ever had an old school PSP 1000, there were multiple versions of the original PlayStation Portable, the 1000, the 2000, and the 3000. The 3000 really fixed the screen. This is a problem with really low quality screens where essentially it's basically blurring the visuals. Now, some people would say, oh, that video is running at 33% or at 11%. This is being filmed with a high-speed camera. The human eye would not perceive this, but I disagree in the fact that this does not look good, especially with 2D stuff. And that's basically what they said. They said if you're playing a game like, I don't know, something like Sonic Mania is the example they give. If you're specifically playing a 2D platformer, something with really good pixel art, the image quality is drastically worse on the Nintendo Switch 2. And it just seems bizarre that any games at all would look or play better on the Nintendo Switch 1. Like, it just almost seems impossible. Now, I want to make it clear, we're not just talking about the Nintendo Switch OLED, the original Nintendo Switch. The launch version of Nintendo Switch from 2017 actually looks better from a screen standpoint than the Nintendo Switch 2. How is that even possible? Now, this is the thing. This is Bob Wolf. Bob Wolf does all sorts of great streams and stuff like that. And this guy, he is basically showing this. Look, man, this is the ghosting effect. Here's a slow-mo breakdown that shows that, look, you can see that there is dramatic ghosting between frames. the image freezes just enough time for you to see that still image before going right back to ghosting. Now, you may say, oh, I'll never ever see this. But the thing is that you will. This is not some magical effect. This is a perceptible thing. I love this. Here's another video that he did. I think it's just such a good way of showing it. Look at the cracks. It has to completely make the next frame and then fade between frames. And it just looks funky. I'm almost kind of curious if this is something that maybe, like, it sucks about the fact that I've seen a lot of people that have not gotten the Nintendo Switch 2 yet, which obviously I very much respect. I've seen people say Nintendo churns out hardware. Nintendo loves to give special editions and do all sorts of crap like that. I've seen so many people saying, I'm going to wait for the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro. I'm waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 OLED. I'm waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 that has that little bit of extra oomph. Because right now, other than playing Switch 1 games better docked, what the hell is the point of the Nintendo Switch 2? And I feel like that's actually a very fine point, especially because this ain't just about frame rate. I mean, of course, some people are saying, hey, I'm not seeing it. Maybe I got lucky. I have seen a bunch of people say like this. My old eyes would notice this, but I'm just not. I've been playing in handheld mode, and I haven't noticed any ghosting or delay. I think it is just a thing that some people notice it, some people don't. They've done a bunch of studies that show that some people are able to see above 100 FPS, some people can't. Some people, they've done actual tests, and I'm 100% serious about this, where they had people look at 60 FPS visuals and 30 FPS visuals. Some people could not tell the difference. I'm not saying that some people are blind or that some people need glasses, but when I remember that, I kind of think about some people who just cannot see ghosting even when it's literally right in front of their faces. Some have criticized Digital Foundry for complaining about the Switch 2 screen's poor response timing in ghosting and peak brightness. This is a thing. My best friend, he plays competitive Splatoon. He's actually in the top 200 players in the world. I play with him a lot. We play almost every night. He's obviously carries me. My rank is only as good as it is because of him. And he talks about the fact that the brightness is so bad. And when you turn the brightness up and turn off auto brightness, the battery is pathetic on the Switch 2. But another tech person did more tests and concluded the Switch 2 has exceptionally slow response time. It makes the after image very noticeable. The Switch 2 built-in display has broken the record for the worst screen the guy had ever tested. In terms of response, it's the worst panel they've ever tested. And I feel like it's not just that. A lot of people have talked about the fact that it is very, very, very prone to scratching. Now, this technically has a built-in scratch guard. They tell you not to remove it. You could actually see on the edge of the screen where you would remove the scratch guard. And I've seen some people actually doing testing that the scratch guard is weirdly more prone to scratches than the stuff underneath it. Now, you wouldn't want to peel it off because there is a chance you'd permanently damage your $500 system, but it feels weird. The fact that we have to buy a second-party, third-party screen protector to put over our first-party screen protector to not let this thing get instantly nicked. I've seen people talking about how messed up and how easy it is to permanently break this just letting it even get bumped over. Oh, sorry, your dock got knocked over by your cat. Sorry, your screen is just perma-broke. This is ridiculous. The LCD blur is very apparent and creates ghosting-like images compared to the PSP 1000 or the GBA 101. It's just bad. It also can't do proper HDR. The VRR implementation is very poor. Across the board, the Switch 2 is not the worst thing of all time. It just feels weird that you would have to pay a premium price for a product that's provably not premium. I feel like a lot of people are sort of hand-waving this way. A lot of people are saying, I don't see it, so it doesn't exist. I only play it docked. But I still feel like we should be asking for more, not less. I just feel like it's weird when people defend companies, right? I don't know. Just some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about the Nintendo Switch 2? I am working on a video where I want to break down, I want to do like a 30, 40 minute video. I've been recording a ton of footage. I've played already, here in the first 2 weeks, I've easily played probably about 100 hours so far in this first like 2.5 weeks. I've been playing it like 5 or 6 hours every single day since it came out, because I've been playing a lot of Splatoon, a lot of old RPGs. I've been playing a lot of stuff, including Resident Evil 4, a lot of games that graphics boost, that performance boost, especially in handheld, you notice it. But that screen, very strange. But I'll make that video later. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for watching. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. I'm filming this video at 9 p.m. because it has been like 100 degrees all day. And finally, it's not blisteringly hot in my office. So I was like, okay, I'm going to film a video where I'm not just gushed.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.